So I want to jump right into it. A prospect profile on Jack Leiter making up to the show. Here we go. JJ Cooper, let's start with you. I know you've been following Jack Leiter for quite some time. He was a star in college. It took him a little bit of time, but that's okay. He's about to turn 24 years old in about a week, and now we'll get to see him for the first time in the bigs with the Texas Rangers. What are you expecting?
One thing I got to give credit to Jack is coming out of college, it looked like he was just going to cruise to the majors. And actually, there's been a lot more adversity, a lot more struggles and difficulties than maybe would have been anticipated when he was the second pick in the 2021 draft. And he's kind of reassessed, adjusted, improved his delivery, and kind of bounced back to get to the big leagues. This is not a pitcher who's had an easy path. He has a career ERA over 5. He's had some times where he's really struggled with control. But since he spent that time last year on the developmental list in 2023, came back, slowed down delivery, simplified delivery, his control improved, his fastball, which has always been an excellent pitch when he could get ahead in counts, has become even better. You put it all together, now here he is. He's going to make his MLB debut and maybe has a chance to stick around, which is something that this time last year seemed very far away.
Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I was all in on Jack Leiter when the Rangers drafted him, and like JJ said, there, wasn't a whole lot to be excited about over the last couple of years, but to see what he's done this year, and like JJ said, really going back to the very end of last year has been at least encouraging to see. I mean, I think number one obviously is just the strikes, right? I mean, kind of obvious. He was walking 5.2 batters per 9 innings last year. This year it's under 2 per 9. He's fallen behind in counts, and hitters are just able to sit on the fastball. And there's some good properties to the fastball, but when he's not commanding it, especially, it's a very hittable pitch, and he made a lot of mistakes, and hitters made him pay for those mistakes. But I think the other thing this year is the slider too. We're seeing him throw it with a little bit more power this year, but he's also landing it for strikes 72% of the time, which obviously is up from where it was last year. So I think you're seeing him throw the slider a little bit more frequently too, where he's not always behind in the count 1-0, 2-0, 3-1 counts where hitters are sitting on that fastball and just teeing off on that pitch. So it's only a few starts this year. I don't want to go overboard, but it's definitely encouraging to see some of the adjustments looking like they're starting to pay off for him.
What Ben said is something that really I think we should watch for as he goes to the majors. Before he was shut down, worked on his delivery, 59% strike percentage. After that, 64% strike percentage. That makes a big difference. But I kind of even going beyond throwing strikes, what I'm going to be very interested to see at the big league level is he locating that fastball? Because if he's in the top third of the zone or above it, he gets a ton of swings and misses. He's got kind of that flat plane. He's got the carry on the fastball. He's got 97, 98, when he needs it. You put all that together, and he's the kind of guy who, on a great night, can go out and strike out 10 and walk no one.
Coming into the year, very low expectations just based on the last couple of years, and don't want to go overboard just on a few starts, just based on the history that we've seen the last couple of years. But I thought coming out of the draft, this guy could be a frontline starter, and don't really have those expectations right now. But he seems right now like he could step in and potentially be a solid back of the rotation starter with some upside for more if some of these adjustments are for real and can stick around throughout the course of the season.
Hey, Ben, what have you thought about the Rangers' approach to drafting and developing pitchers lately? Obviously, Kumar Rocker's another big name on that list. There was controversy when he was first picked, doesn't end up signing with the Mets, and the Rangers end up taking him earlier than most people expected. So there were some names marinating in the minor leagues that people had been waiting for the last couple years, and in the meantime, they won a World Series.
Yeah, and I think they've overhauled a lot of things in player development, and if you look back at the last decade of Rangers pitching development, it's pretty underwhelming. And then you see him trade Cole Reagans to the Royals, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden he looks outstanding. So haven't been a lot of success stories for the Rangers pitching development program, but if he's able to, if Leiter is able to make these adjustments and it's able to stick and turn into real positive results in the big leagues, that would be, I think, a huge step forward for them.
And this is something where this will be a fun one to watch, because Leiter will be, if he can stick, a development success story for, as yes, even though he was the number 2 pick in the draft, as we talked about, there's been a lot of work here. I do think that the key thing that the Rangers have done a little bit better lately is they've kept these guys healthy. That was, I think, a big problem. If you went back 1920, there was a whole lot of guys getting hurt. You got to keep these guys healthy, but at the same time, obviously, I'm also going to not nitpick too much when they've had enough. Yes, they've traded away some guys also, but if it's trading guys to help you win a World Series, well, then it's quite okay to trade away a Tekoa Roby and guys like that as well.
Hey, JJ, this is probably a good problem to have, but the Rangers have quite a few pitchers on the injured list that could come back at some point later in the year. How do you project Jack Leiter on the short term? Like, let's say he performs well, but he's not like, a 1 or a 2 and he's blowing away the league. I mean, eventually there are a lot of arms coming back. And I'm not just talking about the DeGrom Scherzer, mix. It's Tyler Mahle. And then even, Cody Bradford, who just hit the IL recently for the Texas Rangers, is supposed to be in the back end of their rotation and probably still has a spot when he comes back. But there could be some healthy competition here.
Yeah, and I think that you would look at that this is a little bit of kind of a bonus for Leiter that he's getting up so soon. I don't think if everyone's healthy that he's the guy they want to have up there yet. Again, you want to see him do this a little bit more. He's been really good so far this year. He was really solid at the end of last season, but he's also not dominating. He's dominating as far as strikeouts and walks, but he gives up a lot of homers. He's still giving up a lot of homers. Last outing out in the minors, he gave up 3 solo homers. I think if everyone's healthy, the Rangers would not have a problem with Jack Leiter kind of getting a chance to further refine in AAA and be more of a factor second half of the season than first. But hey, the situation has arose. He's ready to go enough to where they're comfortable going to him. And so he does have that chance to go out, and there is the potential to dominate in there that could make it really difficult for the Rangers to send them back down. The flip side of that, though, is that he is homer prone, where one bad inning and all of a sudden he could be cruising for 3 or 4, and all of a sudden it's a 4-run inning, and you go, okay, well, what happened here? That's kind of the two sides of the coin with what Jack Leiter is right now.
I'm looking at some comments here right now in the YouTube chat. Here's Angelo struggles build character. Yeah, that's true, Angelo. And hey, there's Carlos Collazo, our buddy. Keep that fastball up, Jack. Like you mentioned, JJ. I mean, there's a massive difference here with the way that his fastball is playing up in the zone versus down in the zone, right?
Oh, it's when he's up in the zone or above the zone, it's a swing and miss fastball, which there aren't a whole lot of those in the big leagues. His has the ability to do that. But the difference is if he's middle zone, bottom of the zone, or even below the zone, then it's a fastball that hitters can tee off on. You're talking about the difference between turning every hitter into Aaron Judge if he's low in the zone, or turning every hitter into Nick Ahmed if he's at the top of the zone.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So Jack Leiter, welcome to the show. We're excited to see how his big league debut goes and how he fits in with this Rangers rotation.